cause or an excuse for calumny.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, our first talking point this morning is centering on campaign against bush burning and enforcement of regulations against same. We've been joined by the Director of Forest Service on those states, Engineer Samuel Folorenshaw. It's good to have you join us this morning. In Ondo State, some years back, we've had experiences of fire outbreak in certain arena. You find at certain gas station, if you still remember, you find at some other locality, even residential arena. And some of the challenges that have always come to the limelight has always been lack of adequate infrastructure and resources and so on and so forth. So most times they will even say they don't have water, they don't have trucks and all of that. Those were some years back. Has anything changed now? What is the state of preparedness of your agency in tackling fire, especially now that we're in the dry season? Even as we speak, you have water. So what is your problem? Those are vehicles that were bought almost a few months back now.
Yes.
Why are they not operational still?
You know, the vehicles they are newly purchased, and there are some things that has to be in place before we roll them out. And so we are on the process. Very soon the vehicles will be on.
I'm bothered because having those vehicles on ground, and this is the season that they are needed the most. 8 of them, you said, so many Ferrari and hype, so to say, came into the matter. Yes, on those that has bought this and that, and few months down the line, they are not operational. They're not in use.
I just told you now that even with before the vehicles were bought, state government have put in effort to repair the ones that are down. So even without those ones that are newly bought, we have enough vehicles.
Enough vehicles?
Yes, we have vehicles
in good state?
covering the stations in the state now.
Are they in good state?
Yes.
So your response to emergency could be said that it will be really impressive?
I think the evidence is in the news.
Okay.
Where is the evidence?
Several times
Mm.
we will be called and our people will turn out on time to attend to incidents. Even yesterday, we were at Igbaroke yesterday. We were there around 3:30. We left there to eat in the evening. So we are everywhere working. Owo, Ondo, they can testify.
All right. The last time you came on the show, engineer, you told us or you informed us that you'll be doing a lot of sensitization and campaigns for people to beware, especially about bush burning and how to stay away from fire incidences. So, how far have you gone with those enlightenment programs, and which platforms are you doing them?
Efforts are ongoing. We are imploring the services of Ondo State Radio Corporation to sensitize people. In fact, for the first time, you will hear jingles on radio and also on television about Ondo State Fire Service, sponsored by Ondo State Fire Service. We've been hearing jingles on maybe social contribution from people, but even ourselves now, Ondo State Fire Service, we came out with our own jingle. That's one. Then just yesterday, I wrote some agencies like Ondo State Ministry of Agriculture, then Ondo State Emergency Management Authority (SEMA) concerning bush burning, that they should collaborate with us in sensitizing the public, in creating awareness, so that because bush burning we have identified comes mostly from our farmers who are preparing ground for the new planting season. We recorded loss of bush burning in December last year. In fact, and this January now, this new year, we've recorded so many bush burning too, most especially in Owo and Akure. Ondo is coming up again now. Just last week, there was a bush burning in Ondo that had to touch NEPA office and burnt the equipment in NEPA. It was a bush burning that extended to that. So we are on the air, we are everywhere now, sensitizing our people. We also want to have a town hall meeting with farmers. We want to engage our traditional rulers, most especially the upper of Owo, because we found out that bush burning is rampant in Owo.
Why should I not burn bush?
You shouldn't burn bush for so many reasons. One, you set bush on fire, you degrade the nutrients on the land, you kill the rodents and other bush animals, then unfortunately you affect the surrounding. When we are talking of climate change now, when you continue to burn bush, it goes into the environment, into the atmosphere. also add to the emission, which is affecting our climate. So for so many reasons, bush burning should be discouraged. There are so many ways we can prepare our land for farming without burning bush. And if eventually we need to, after our forefathers have been doing that, we need to create fire paths before we set wherever we want to burn on fire, so that it will not extend to the adjoining crops and other facilities. But these days, people, maybe because of the poverty in the land, or because most of our youth are no more engaging in farming, so there are little hands to do it. They don't really go into creating fire paths before they burn bush. They don't really care for whoever it affects, and they also want to reduce the cost of brushing the bush. So instead of cutting, they just set it on fire, so that after the fire is burned, the next thing is to eat, which is very wrong.
You mentioned fire pots, creating fire pots. How is fire pots created?
Yes, there are pathways that you create when you want to burn. For instance, now you want to burn this environment, this place.
Let's say it becomes very necessary, yes, right, to burn.
To burn. So you have to cut around it, okay, and then make sure that there are pathways created, so that as this place is burning, it will not extend to the other side.
Now, I'd like to know to what extent you're really forming synergies and collaborations with critical orders. In this case, I'm talking about Landlords Association, talking about people who should know, who are community leaders, opinion molders, in sensitizing the people. Because if you ask me, yes, the media is very powerful. You also need the traditional oral one-on-one meeting with the people to really conscientize them on the dangers of bush burning. And some people, you understand, when they live in their houses, they don't put off appliances and many other things that could trigger fire outbreak. To what extent are you meeting minds with the people as far as this is concerned?
Thank you, sir. You're only re-echoing what I just said. I said we already are having meetings with traditional rulers in the state. In fact, we are also having meetings with other stakeholders. We've called the hotel owners. We've had meeting with them. We've called the Petrol Tankers Association. We've had meeting with them. We've called petrol dealers, those having petrol stations. We've had meetings with them. We've been going to schools, because these are these are catchment area, okay, to reach out to our parents. We've been going to schools to sensitize the students, to also tell them to help tell their parents, so that they reduce this excess burning of bush and a careless way of handling fire at home.
You know, following show, I put it to you that most times in the Nigerian setting, when there are no consequences for actions and inactions, whatever you say will just be like you're just holding a tea party. Are there regulations that prohibit bush burning and other practices that could trigger fire outbreak? If there are, how well is your agency enforcing these?
Our people will need to speak to our conscience. That is the most important thing.
So there are no regulations?
There are regulations, but we first need to speak to our conscience. Let me just tell you that 3 weeks ago, exactly 3 weeks ago, I was going to my office at Car Street Junction. That's the stadium junction, going to a stadium. That junction, there is a median, just a little party median with it. That place has become a dump site for the public. That's where they dump their refuse for waste management to come and pack. 3 weeks ago, when I was passing there, waste management did not come. So they have to set it on fire at the center of the road and at the center of the town. So I was furious. I packed. I came down. I talked to the people around. They said they didn't know who put it. I said, okay, if you cannot apprehend the person that put this, set the fire here, we can arrest those that are around. That I will now go and reinforce my men to come and arrest. That was when they now came out to be pouring water. So we need to speak to our conscience. These things we are doing is dangerous to our health. It's also dangerous to the environment, most especially to our facilities. The road on which they are burning, the road will also, the asphalt will be degraded and the things will be affected. Now, concerning enforcement, there are laws in the state, and even in the federation, that we should observe fire code. We have fire codes around, and we've been going around to enforce the fire code. We've been going around to also do what we call risk analysis of the environment and our homes to know that the environment is safe of fire incidents. But the challenge we face is people don't listen until there is punishment for their actions. And this punishment is not in the capacity of our agents to give. We only enforce the law and then hand over the culprit to the law enforcement agents and to face the consequence. So that's what we do.
Yes, for those people who are to face the consequences, but is there a way you bring this to the public so that they could serve as deterrence to others?
I think that is for the people handling the law handlers, because we cannot convince anyone that this person is a culprit except the law. So I think the law enforcement agency should be the one to really bring it out.
What was the level of cooperation between your agency and the Nigeria police in dealing with this?
There is a synergy between us. We are working in collaboration with them.
Okay.
Now, looking at the seriousness of the government in fighting fire, what should the people of Ondo State expect in the coming days or weeks or months, especially with respect to these trucks that you say have been purchased a few months back and they're not being put to use? Is there a commitment that these will be put to use to reinforce these firefighting efforts?
I know you are interested in the new vehicles. One reason why they are not being used now is that we want to create more stations. Presently, we're having 7 stations covering Ondo State. So we want to create more stations so that at least there will be a station in every local government. And so by the time this is on ground, we now distribute these vehicles. It will go around all the local governments so that every local government will have a fire station. And then this issue of we call, you did not arrive on time will no more be there.
What are the other logistic challenges being faced by your agency?
There are lots. We cannot exhaust our challenges, but we thank the state government because they are on top.
You've been thanking the state government. What are your challenges?
The most important.
What are the things inhibiting your operations?
The most important thing now is lack of staff. The old ones are retiring, and we need more hands.
What's the current staff strength of your agency?
Our staff strength presently now is 88
across the state.
Across the state. Meanwhile, the station should be 18. So that is the most important challenge we face, and that's why we couldn't distribute these vehicles. A proposal is on already. We've written the proposal, and I know the government will so attend to it. They will recruit.
You're an expert in this regard. I'd like to know, you're having 88 personnel currently across Ondo State. What is the ideal number?
I just told you a station should be 18.
I'm talking about personnel.
Yes.
Okay, in a station you
In
should
the
have at
station,
least 18.
18 personnel.
Oh,
in the
okay
station.
then.
Yes,
Okay then.
that,
So
that,
if
that
you,
is the ideal number of personnel approved by the international body.
That means 18 times 18, that's about 324 staff strengths that you're supposed
we
to
are
have,
expecting in
that
the
you
state.
are expecting to have.
Yes.
They said there is a proposal on the way
Yes.
for that to happen. All right, let's bring it back again to the people, because this is also an avenue for you to sensitize the people on how to be fire conscious, especially prevention. So what would you advise people to do? One, to prevent fire incidents, especially in the residential area.
Well, so if you can, the most important thing that people can do is to control the fuel. That's the materials they have. They should arrange their materials in a way that combustible materials will not be close to its source, because it is difficult for one to control heat and oxygen. Why? Because heat is everywhere, most especially in the dry season. Then oxygen is in the air, except you, the one will not want to breathe, except you want to live in a vacuum. That's the only way we can say we are putting oxygen to check. So the one that we can really control is the material that is tend to burn. So people should try as much as possible to handle with care anything that can burn, be it kerosene, petrol, cloth, anything at all that you know can burn. Do not let it get close to its source, so that it will not result into fire.
yeah, Foreign if you permit me, I like to submit that most of your operations are reactive and not proactive. And I'd like you to prove me wrong. You've been talking about how you respond to emergencies, but I like to know, on behalf of the people of Ondo State, how well you take proactive measures against fire incidents. Beyond the meetings you say you're having with traditional rulers, what other things do you do to prevent fire outbreaks? To my mind, as a layman, your job should not just be an office job. It should be a field work. I do not know if I'm correct.
Yes.
Please educate me.
Thank you very much. Fire service, we have two critical arms in fire service, and we have been putting the two into operation.
Okay.
The third one, which is also very important, is what we are really working on now.
Okay.
And the first one is operation, which you know that we go into the field to fight fire to do, and that is what makes us reactive to fire. Then to be proactive, prevention unit is what we tend to, and that prevention unit has been empowered. They are working. If not for the prevention unit, we won't be talking of sensitization.
What does the unit do?
The unit, they are the one that educate the public on dangers of fire. They are the one that enforce our fire code laws. They are the one that sensitize the public and schools. That I told you that we go around schools. They are the one that is doing all those ones.
Okay.
So that prevention unit is very active and working. So when you say that we are not proactive, I just laugh, because I know that that unit is up to the task and they are working.
Maybe you should be more visible then, because what people see as being your reactive operations, like you also talked about, going to fight fire and all of that. Well, I like to know, you said that unit, prevention unit, has been empowered. How many people are there? If you are having 88 across the state. I wonder how many are in Akure, the state capital. You're having a shortfall of 236 officers and personnel, so to say. So I do not understand how empowered that prevention unit could have been with a shortfall of personnel. So if you permit me, I feel that there is the need to declare a state of emergency in firefighting service of Ondo State, especially in terms of personnel. I don't know if you agree with me.
No, sir. I will not agree with you because the little number of personnel we have are revolving around all our activities.
They must be working 24 hours then.
Yes, that's what we do. I told you yesterday we were in Baraoke up to 8:30 p.m. I left my station around to 10. I got to 10:45 yesterday.
But this could be counterproductive when you are overstretching the
personnel.
limited human resources.
That is why I told you that we have proposed to the state government to recruit into the fire service. And I want to use this avenue too to also speak to the men of the government. Fire service is a very essential agency in the state, and so it should be taken care of in terms of personnel.
So as we have the Ondo State Fire Service in the presence in Akure, so do we have the federal fire service presence too?
Yes.
Also, how do you work together?
Yes, the federal fire service is to collaborate with Ondo State Fire Service in terms of assisting them in whatever they will, whenever there is a fire incident. So they are really commending their efforts, and they are complementing what we do. If there is any fire incident in any place, if we get there and we find out that in the next 2 hours we won't be able to surmount the fire, we quickly signal to the federal fire service. They will come and join.
So there are some kind of backup for you.
Yes.
All right.
And they are really they are doing the work. So I give kudos to them.
And yes, sorry, Follow-on, I have to wish you the very best. And then I also augment what 88 currently. The concerned government authorities should please see to that, so that fire service of Ondo State could be much more empowered in terms of personnel. We thank you for all you do, and we wish you the very best, Engineer Son Follow-on. He's the Director of Fire Service Unit of the Ondo State Fire Service, and we've been talking about prevent break. It is your role, it is also the role of government and everyone to prevent fire outbreak. We'll take a break. When we return,
As we are all aware, this is also the year for our governorship election. Expectedly, political activities will gain prominence as we march towards the election. However, let me implore all political parties, aspirants, they follow strictly the guidelines issued by the electoral umpire. The election should be a contest of ideas and choices, and not an opportunity to settle political scores or an
Glad to see have you with us, everyone. Now we're shifting our gaze at the inflation rate in Nigeria and the challenge of economic growth, has been joined by an economic expert and public affairs commentator, Mr. Bankole Olaluwa. It's nice to have you join us today on this outlook.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's start with understanding what our problem is. What are the precursors to this economic downturn that now bites harder, not just for those who feel that, yes, they want to live a buoyant or flamboyant lifestyle. You now find it biting harder on even peasants. People who should afford Gary no longer can. What are the reasons that we could adduce to these economic challenges?
All right, thank you very much. I'm elated from the perspective you start the discussion because it is very important as a nation to know where the rain start beating us. If we don't know where the rain start beating us, then it might be difficult for us to find a solution. Now, it's on record that the structure of our economy has been badly damaged for the past 20 years. So what I'm saying in essence is that the challenge we are currently facing does not just emerge yesterday or day after yesterday. So it has been with us for a relatively long time period that this challenge of our economy has been with us. No, the structure of our economy has been in a very bad state over the years. And so this is fundamentally the problem we are having. Of course, in the last few months, it has been exacerbated by some policy of government. Of course, the intention of government is not to punish Nigerians. However, you know, if you are in a government or you are in a position to do certain thing for the benefit of your economy, you know, in most of the cases, you may have some initially technical problems or challenge that will come to the front burner, which is what I felt we are currently experiencing now. Now, talking about inflation, which obviously is the theme of our discussion. Of course, it's not a recent phenomenon. It has always been there for ages, and economists of all persuasion has always discussed the word inflation, which is that you have a situation whereby a huge amount of money is chasing few goods, and that's basically what the inflation is all about. It has in recent time why it has now exacerbated to the extent that it's about 29% now rate of inflation. As at December last year, it was because of certain issue in the economy. Chiefly, which are the first one has to do with the devaluation of the currency of our nation. You know, our currency has been devalued over the years, and you know we are also import dependent economy. So most of those things that we use in Nigeria, we import them, and if you want to go and import them, it's also important that you have to procure dollar that we use to do your transaction, because you cannot go and procure whatever you want to do abroad with naira. So you need to buy dollar. Also in the process, we also have a situation whereby we have so much dollar naira chasing dollar. So and whatever, you know, because of the devaluation in the currency and the value of our currency. So it then means that, you know, what you can do with 100 naira years ago, you cannot do with 200 naira now. So these are some of the challenges that we're having. Then we also know that upon assumption of office of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the issue of subsidy removal also came to the front burner, and he said that subsidy is gone. Now, when subsidy is gone, we have what is known as cost push inflation. Now, if you are a manufacturer or you are a producer of anything, or even you are a farmer, there are what we call cost of production. There are certain things that goes into that thing that you are producing. So immediately subsidy was removed. So you discover that cost of production now went off. For instance, if you are buying yam from Eleyowo, what it takes you to go to Eleyowo before subsidy was removed can no longer take you. And so in essence,